Today we're going to look at the energy you need to embody in order to move to the next level in your life, in order to move to the next chapter, the next phase, the next season, in order to unlock the next new beginning that's in store for you. So I'm planning on pulling 3 tarot cards with a clarifier or 2, and then doing the book method of divination with this book by Ernest Holmes called This Thing Called You, to see if there's any final messages from the book. So we'll start with the tarot and see what comes through. 3 tarot cards, please. Ooh, that came out fast. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, they're a bit jumpy today. Here we go. Three tarot cards, please. 2 more. What energy needs to embody in order to move to the next level? Goodness, just 2 more. As I'm doing this, I'm really noticing this orange here for some reason. Like, I think it's so interesting that it's like on the left side. It's almost like a bookend or something. Maybe it feels like a safety net, like your new beginning is protected until you're ready for it. Goodness. It's these 2. They are jumpy today. I guess a lot of information wants to come through. Okay. Wheel of Fortune upright, Page of Swords upright, and the 8 of Pentacles upright. Oh, cool. What a cool, oh my gosh, look at how the Page of Swords is playing off my ring. They're like twins, aren't they? That's so cool. Okay, let's see if any clarifiers want to come through. So I'm clarifying with the Prism Oracle. 1 or 2 clarifiers, please. I'm getting 2. I think we need 2. Growth and disruption. Ooh, what a cool reading. It's so pretty. Look at how this disruption is like the same color of these roses, just that bright, beautiful pink. Okay, so first things first, I don't feel like these 2 clarifiers are supposed to be in reverse. They feel like they are supposed to be upright. And because I don't think the reverse had a message with those. Sometimes I read reversals, but I just go intuitively with it. Now, this is so wild. Look at how similar the growth card is to the Wheel of Fortune, and look at how similar like this disruption card is to the Page of Swords, like in terms of these shapes. Do you know what I mean? So what that's telling me, like look at this, that's wild, right? So what that's telling me is actually the growth is clarifying the Wheel of Fortune, and disruption is clarifying the Page of Swords. So now what I'd like to do is get a clarifier for the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, a clarifier for the 8 of Pentacles, please. Happiness. And again, it feels like it's upright. Ooh, look at those oranges playing off of each other. And that orange there too is a little different, I guess. Okay, this feels more complete to me. Wonderful. Wheel of Fortune, Page of Swords, 8 of Pentacles. Wheel of Fortune is clarified by growth. A green card. Page of Swords is clarified by disruption. A pink card. And 8 of Pentacles is clarified by happiness, an orange card. Okay, wow. I'm just loving this reading so far. So we're asking once again about the energy that needs to be embodied in order for you to move to the next phase of your life. Now, it's just so interesting that Wheel of Fortune comes out, isn't it? Because it's almost like validating that that question is heard. Because one way the Wheel of Fortune speaks to me is just like this validation of the cycles of life, the phases of life, that life is always moving in some capacity. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this orange here is just like really standing out to me. I truly feel like it is saying there's a safety net in place. There's the new beginning that you are sensing, the new beginning that you are striving for is protected. Like you can't go back. Like look at the difference between this orange compared to this cool blue and gold. What that's saying to me, like look at how the orange goes all the way. It's again saying like there you can't go back. Okay, so that's great. I mean, sometimes that's difficult to deal with, and sometimes we need to grieve what we've lost when we can't go back. But at the same time, I feel like what this blue and gold is speaking about is just more fun, more adventure. Like it feels different than this, right? And I really feel like it's saying this new phase is ready. Now, with growth clarifying the Wheel of Fortune, and again, I just like almost can't get over how similar these cards are. It's wild, right? What this is speaking to me about, because one thing the Wheel of Fortune talks about or can represent, do you see these like four little triangles on what looks like almost like a compass? That can represent earth, air, fire, and water. So it's kind of similar to what I said before in terms of like life is always cyclical, it's always moving. I think it represents like there's many aspects of life, right? And the alchemy of life. Well, with growth clarifying the Wheel of Fortune, I think it's really bringing your attention to that earth element, okay? Like the grounding element. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking here of the Eight of Pentacles, because Pentacles is earthy energy. Like Pentacles represents what is it that we need to do to get our physical needs met as physical humans. So there's definitely like an earth energy that's coming through. So one thing that's coming to me is anything that you can do in your life to be more grounded and present is going to help unlock your next level, unlock your new beginning. So that can literally be like grounding on the earth. So whenever you can take your shoes and socks off, go onto the earth, that's going to be a beautiful thing. But anything that's just going to help you with feeling more present. So anytime you can bring your attention back to your body, back to your breath, that's going to help with that presence energy that I think is really wanting to come through here. And right now I'm just like noticing how similar these colors are here. Look at that green here and the green here. It's just wild, isn't it? How similar these cards are. Now, another thing I think that's wanting to be spoken out here is with growth clarifying the Wheel of Fortune is again almost like a validation, like it's time. It's time is what's coming through. Like this transformation, because what does growth represent? Transformation, right? True growth always represents some sort of transformation. You can't go back to who you were before. You move forward to something completely different, right? And how do you get from where you were before to something completely different? Growth, 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 growth. Okay? So I think anything you can do to have a growth mindset, as cliche as that sounds, it sounds cliche, but to put it into practice is a true testament to spirituality at work in our lives. You know what I mean? Growth mindset is, instead of thinking we already have to defend who we are, we're willing to instead realize that we're always going to be transforming. That's the intention of life. And so if we align with that intention, we can let go of the defenses we need to have up, because if we're not proud of who we are or certain aspects of who we are now, that's okay, because we're growing. We're growing. So I think growth mindset is huge here. Now, let's move over here to the Page of Swords and disruption, because it plays off of the Wheel of Fortune and growth. Now, Page of Swords, look at how cool that card is. And it just beautifully represents what the Page of Swords can symbolize, which is a wildness, a creativity, just like wild. Wild is what's coming to me. And I think that's so interesting that it's clarified by disruption, because it almost is like the universe is clarifying, like it's saying like I meant what I said with Page of Swords, because disruption, what this card can represent is like nonconformity. So going against convention, and we don't have to say going against convention, but we can just say like rewilding. And oh my gosh, isn't it interesting that this pink matches so beautifully with the roses, because I do think that that's what these two cards, this part of your reading wants to really get your attention about, is embodying is rewilding. That's just what keeps coming to me. Rewilding. So unlearning, disrupting, unlearning, maybe some conventional thought patterns, conventional beliefs, conventional definitions that you have wired in your brain, and being willing to rewire. I mean, that disruption card almost like looks like rewiring, doesn't it? Rewire, unlearn, rewire, rewild. Does that make sense? You're rewiring with the intention of rewilding. And I mean, I think that plays off of the growth card beautifully because, as I said before, I felt like the earthy energy was wanting to come through here. So there's like a grounding that happens so that you can create space for disruption in how you work, in how you operate, in how your nervous system is wired, in how your brain is wired, so that it can go in the direction of rewilding, unlearning to rewild. Does that make sense? That's what's coming to me. Unlearning to rewild. It's almost like, oh my gosh, here it is. This is wanting to tell you, again, you can't go back. But also just like just grounding and presence is going to prepare you for rewilding. And then we'll get to this next section here, which is exciting. But there's like almost like a cleansing, a grounding, rewiring, rewilding. And then we get to the Eight of Pentacles and happiness. And the Eight of Pentacles is like, it's hard work. It's hard work. It's implementing, it's investing in what you're doing, and you just like build momentum. It really is hard work. But what's coming to me is it's not hard work. Like, it's hard work that makes you very happy, clearly, because you did this preparation. Do you know what I mean? And when I say this preparation, I mean maybe like daily before you actually start to work, you do this sort of preparation. But I also just think like as you prepare for your next phase, there's going to be these like mini phases within it. And part of it is going to be that grounding and presence that's going to help you prepare you for the rewilding, the unlearning and rewilding. That then with that energy, you can put in the hard work, but it makes you happy. You know what I mean? We have like when I said, but I'm just thinking we have like this negative connotation of hard work because usually we're working hard for somebody else's purposes, or we're working hard just for a reward, or we're working hard in a way that's very conventional. But when you work hard in alignment with wild, and oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of a quote. What is it? I can't remember who said it. Let me just take a moment. It's, underneath it all, we are wild and we know it. Or underneath it all, you are wild and you know it. Isn't that beautiful? I really can't remember who said it. I think I first heard it maybe a decade plus ago, and it truly changed how I looked at things because, you know, like there's certain quotes when you hear it, you can't go back, right? This was one of those quotes for me because I was like, because prior to that, I was very conventional, right? I was very trained in a non-disruptive way of thinking, right? But when it said underneath it all, you are wild and you know it, it was like I knew it. You can't go back. And so there's been a rewilding process in my life, which simply means aligning with Mother Nature's principles, which simply and powerfully means aligning with Mother God's principles, which looks very different than the principles of our culture, right? But then when we put our hardworking energy behind that, when we are embodying that energy, plus then we work hard, it equals happiness because it's not, it's hard work for a purpose, right? And I think to our culture, you know, this almost seems like a paradox, right? How can it be like wild and hardworking? But I feel like that's the paradox you're being asked to embody in order to unlock your next level, in order to unlock your next new beginning, is this paradox of grounded, wild, and hardworking. It's sort of beautiful. And oh my gosh, isn't this cool? Like, this almost looks like a rocket, doesn't this Page of Swords? And look at, you know, what's coming to me now is, do you see how it's like almost bursting through the old ways of thinking. I'm just like, I feel like in this reading, these, like this down here, because it's clarified with the disruption card, is representing like old ways of thinking, right? And as you unlearn, rewire, rewild, you burst through that into your next level. It's just so, it's so cool. I love it so much. So this is really, gosh, this is really exciting for you, because I think what it's saying is like, you may have thought in order to get unstuck, again, in order to unlock this next new beginning that clearly is available to you, and clearly I feel like you can sense, right? You don't have to do what you've done in the past, and you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Your path is going to look much, much different. Look how vibrant your path is. Like, just look at this vibrancy. So your path is going to look so much different than other people, and that's because you're doing it right, not wrong. But sometimes it can be hard when we do it different. It can feel like we're doing it wrong, right? But that difference is actually, again, the rewilding that's happening, which is so right. Underneath it all, you are wild, and you know it. And then look at, I mean, these aren't the exact same pink, but look at how this is pink, right? Playing off the roses. And that's what's penetrating you through all these old ways of thinking. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. I felt like there was something here, but I just am not pulling it up quite yet with this half circle at the bottom. I'm not sure, but just wanted to mention that in case something's coming to you. I guess, okay, here it's coming. It almost feels like this half circle is the growth. Do you know what I mean? Like willing to grow. So first, like that willingness to grow is like pushing you up. It's propelling you forward. But this is just slowly, right? It just like slowly pushes you up. It's so cool. And then that rewilding can happen that gets you. And then this is almost like a seed, isn't it? And it like protects you as you're working through all those old ways of thinking, as you're disrupting those old ways of thinking. And then slowly it comes out like a rocket, and then it can go more quickly. And maybe that also wants to be said, that like it can feel slow at the beginning, but that doesn't mean that nothing is happening. It's an important part of the process. So stick with it. And I think that's part of the Eight of Pentacles too. Like Eight of Pentacles energy is like stick with it. You know what I mean? Build momentum, and eventually it compounds, right? But maybe not right away. Maybe at first it's just about getting through some of those initial layers by your willingness to grow. And then more of a rocket ship energy can be released or can be experienced. So let's do one final thing here, which is the book Method of Divination with this book, This Thing Called You by Inner Stone. So let's see what wants to be said. Okay, right here. This calls for faith and understanding, a complete conviction that God is right where you are. And I'm just going to say Mother God whenever he says God. So here, I'll restart. This calls for faith and understanding, a complete conviction that Mother God is right where you are, that life is speaking through you, and that the law of life is obeying your will. Words without this awareness have no power. Spiritual awareness is the healing agency loosed through your word. While it is true that thoughts are things, they are things in your experience only in such a degree as your inward consciousness pours the fire of conviction into the form of your intellectual affirmation. The authority for your words is in your works. The only authority you have for your belief is the authority of what the belief accomplishes. Jesus would have left no lasting mark on history if he had not proved what he believed. When he said peace, there was peace. When he said to the wind and the wave, be still, the wind and the wave were stilled. When he told the paralyzed man to get up and walk, the man got up and walked. Naturally, you exclaim, well, I'm not Jesus. Fortunately, you are not. You are yourself. This is the most wonderful thing about you. You are someone in your own right. You have access to the same power he used. The Mother God who is ever with you is the same spirit with whom he communed. There are not two spirits or two powers. There are not two divine presences or two universal laws of mind. There are not two laws of gravitation or two principles of mathematics. Nothing has happened to reality since Jesus walked the shores of Galilee and ministered to the multitudes who so eagerly followed him. The kingdom of heaven, which Jesus was always talking about, is your own kingdom. The spirit which was with him, the spirit with which was within him, is in everyone, equally available, giving of itself alike to every age. It is neither the power, the presence, nor the law that you lack, if you lack anything. It is a consciousness, an inner spiritual awareness. This consciousness is a thing of thought and conviction. It is a thing of faith and understanding. No one can give you, no one can give you this, one more time. No one can give this to you but yourself. And if you have it, no one can take it away from you. Say, truth lives forevermore at the center of my being. I know that faith has walked over the troubled waters of human experience 2,000 years ago. I know that the faith that has walked over the troubled waters of human experience 2,000 years ago is at the center of my own being. I know that the inner calm that stilled the tempest is accessible to me today. I know that the truth within me is always triumphant. Ooh. Let's read that a few more times, and if it feels right, you can just repeat after me, either out loud if that feels okay, or just in your mind's eye or to yourself. I know that the truth within me is always triumphant. I know that the truth within me is always triumphant. One more time. I know that the truth within me is always triumphant. Wow. What a powerful little reading, wasn't that? So let's just unpack it a little bit, shall we? So this calls for faith and understanding, a complete conviction that Mother God is right where you are, that life is speaking through you, and that the law of life is obeying your will. I mean, I feel like the growth card really represents that, right? Look at even the imagery on it. Just at the center is life. Do you know what I mean? Look at that card. At the center is life. And no matter how hard we try, we can't be disconnected from life, right? We can think we're disconnected, but we can never actually disconnect. Life is life, right? And so a remembrance of that can be really important, especially if we're just struggling in the current season or struggling to get to the next season. I think it's important to remember the life force within. And then, I loved when he said, spiritual awareness is the healing agency loosed through your word. Now, I think it's so interesting. Ernest Holmes often uses loosed in that way. And I think to me, it just means we have to loosen up. So again, going back to disruption and the page of chords, or page of chords, interesting, page of swords. Maybe I was just thinking we have to loosen up energetic cords. Does that make sense? Those energetic cords we have with other people, but then also the energetic streams within us that have been practiced that maybe aren't in alignment with our next chapter, aren't in alignment with our higher self. So we aren't always required to know what to do about that, to know how to get to the next chapter, but we are required to loose it. Spiritual awareness is the healing agency loosed through your word. So I think it's that willingness to recognize when when things are blocking it, right? And maybe it's noticing a thought pattern, and then you are willing through your word. So what you say to yourself, you're willing to shift it and instead create a mantra out of what was blocking you. And then that starts to loosen up these things that are blocking, starts to allow for disruption so that you can pierce through. It's just so cool. And then the authority of your words is in your works. And then that really felt like Eight of Pentacles, right? So we like loosen here, we ground into the idea that life is within us. Then we don't loosen here. We ground into the idea that life is within us. Here we loosen, we disrupt. We're willing to break through some things blocking. And then the authority of your words is in your works. Eight of Pentacles. So actually putting this energy, this beautiful energy into practice, grounding it into your reality through action. I mean, I think it's just so beautiful. And I mean, I think when he says, you know, when Jesus said peace, there was peace. I think a part of that, you know, it's interesting that that would be said here in a reading where we're asking about energy embodiment. Because I think when we start to ask about energy embodiment, you know, we actually have to embody the energy. So there's no like tricking the universe. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what maybe the safety net is here in terms of going from the past to your future. It's really embodying who you want to become, not just wanting your life to look a certain way, but really embodying the person you want to be. Does that make sense? So I think that's a big shift that you are embarking on now, is looking less at how your life looks and looking more at who you are being. And that's a very, very cool shift. Okay, is there anything else that wants to come out? Let's see. I mean, I thought it was also beautiful. I guess like then how it started is with that idea of conviction, faith, understanding, conviction, you know? And I think that wants to be highlighted here, like to disrupt anything, to disrupt our, you know, dysfunctional patterns, our dysfunctional thought patterns, our dysfunctional relationship patterns, to disrupt dysfunctional cultural patterns, dysfunctional subcultural patterns, like that takes a certain level of conviction. It's not just like a flippant, easy task, right? And so there's just this energy of like a willingness to be convicted in this. And I'm thinking of how it started, which is with the word faith. This calls for faith and understanding, a complete conviction that Mother God is right where you are. And one thing I always like to think about when it comes to faith is, and this doesn't come from me, this comes from Daryl Inca, who channels Bashar. He talks about how you can't grow more faith, because I used to always think like I want to grow in my faith, right? In my faith in Mother God, in my faith in spirituality, so on and so forth. And what he talks about is like you're always 100% trusting something. You're always 100% having faith in something. So instead of thinking of growing in faith, think of disrupting what you are funneling your 100% faith towards. And that felt like that still feels like a more doable task to me, right? Because when I was trying to grow in my faith, that just felt so abstract and weird, and I didn't know how to do that. But now, the more I practice just like being aware, moment in and moment out, what I'm funneling my 100% trust to, what I'm funneling my 100% faith to, then I can catch it and disrupt it when I'm funneling my faith to things that are destructive, or I'm funneling my faith to things that are harmful, or I'm funneling my faith to scarcity and doubt. I can be like, ooh, 100% of my faith in that moment was going to doubt. I was 100% trusting doubt in that moment, but I can shift it in this moment. And that baby step process has, over time for me, helped me experience what feels like more faith in my life, right? More faith in Mother God. But it's really just been noticing when I've been funneling my faith to not Mother Nature, not Mother God, and then shifting my focus. And, you know, I think part of that, which is so beautiful about your reading, is it is just grounded in this idea that Mother God is present. You know, like the power, there's just one power, and it is present in its life force within you. And I think sometimes getting back to those simple but powerful principles can have the illusion, or not the illusion, the experience of like a safety net when we're trying new things, and it can be scary, especially when it's countercultural or goes against what maybe your family wants for you, or a friendship wants for you, or something like that. We sometimes have to get back to these really basic life principles that may be simple, but again, are very powerful. And then reminding ourselves of those can give us the power that we need to grow, transform, evolve, and pierce through to a new layer of experience. So I'm really excited for you. This is amazing. You're really at a precipice, a powerful, powerful precipice. And I wish you all the best. May you know that as you are preparing for this next chapter of your life, that you are protected, and that you have resources within you, even if it doesn't always feel that way, and that this is going to be a step-by-step journey. But at some point, you will experience that relief of piercing through is really what's coming to me. And it relies on your willingness to practice conviction, which again to me means your willingness to become more aware of where you're channeling that sacred power of faith, right? And I guess like that wants to be said as well. Like, you know, each of us has this full power, right? So like, again, no matter what, each person, every human being has the capacity for 100% trust. And we're actually always 100% trusting something. We have the capacity for 100% faith. We're always 100%, putting our faith towards something. Like that's power. Do you feel the power in that? Right? So when we feel powerless, all that's happening is we're using that power in a way that is destructive to ourselves or others. So if you can catch those things, baby step by baby step, moment in, moment out, seemingly small ways, and not even have to know how to funnel it differently or where to funnel it differently, but just willing to have it be disrupted. I'm willing to disrupt this pattern. You could even say to yourself, I'm willing to change. Then that is when the Mother God energy can take over and can help rewild you so that the important action and work that you're doing can result in a happy outcome. So I wish you all the happiness in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in.